Hello everyone and welcome back. I'm super excited. Today we're gonna talk about this sort of legendary jeans. It's Wrangler. It's a cowboy cut, very traditional, and this is 13MWZ. Most of you people probably know or heard somewhere, but this is like super popular in this country, in the United States. So we would talk about it. I will talk about the denim first, and then details, and then we'll do the measurements about the fit. So I want to compare it to, we have like 501 Levi's, but first I want to say this is really interesting because I never wore them. First of all, this is very thick. It's a 14.75. It's almost 15 ounce denim, and it makes sense because it's kind of designed for the cowboys, for professionals, people who are just every day go in some tough jobs, and not just the cowboys but as well as construction workers or mechanics or whatever. The purpose I bought it, and not just to make this review, but I actually want to, I'm riding motorcycles every day, and I actually thinking about it, there would be pretty good jeans to run around in motorcycle, and I think they they don't have any extra, so to speak, like a padding or like Kevlar, but this believe me, this is pretty tough denim. So I think they would be hard to break. But let's talk about denim first. This is the color. First of all, the color is kind of like a traditional sort of synthetic indigo, which is sort of mass production. Wrangler claimed recently that they started to use natural indigo, but I think not for this model particular, because this is very, very evenly, and this is kind of I should say, is it's not a raw denim. It's clearly sunfurized, but this is pretty tough. This is rigid, I would say. Even though the color of rigid is, traditionally when you buy the salvage gym, it's a little more like salvage denim. It's a little more like a darker, much darker. This is sort of like bluish, like I said, synthetic indigo, and the texture is interesting. It's very, and I did I heard about it before about the texture. It's a zigzag texture. It's not, left twill or like right-hand twill. This is a zigzag, and that's what makes it kind of unique, the Wranglers. You see, it's easy to see when you from inside. And this is how, I'm going to try to show you. Okay. So what's interesting about this, because I think it makes the fabric a lot more tougher when you go, when you just, let's say, so there's one story I just learned recently, why cowboys not wearing 501s Levi's, for example. And the story goes that this is like a barbed wire test. If you sort of snag these jeans, let's say this Levi's, we have 501 for comparison, if you snag them over barbed wire, so they will rip. But the Wranglers would not rip. I don't know how true it is, but I do believe this, because this is tough. Like I said, I'll be very interested, because I will try to break them, and to be honest, it might take a long time to break them. So this is like for real man jeans, but there is a cowgirls, and this is a whole culture. We're talking about the whole Southwest and people in the United States. It's everywhere. This is sort of like they would never put even Levi's on. The denim is 1475 ounces. It's also, the denim is actually made in Texas, and I'm sorry, it's from Texas cotton, but the denim itself produced in Mount Vernon in Georgia, United States. They made in when we opened up, they made in Mexico, this particular pair. So it's 100% cotton. Like I said, the denim produced in Georgia, which is great. The quality is really I'm actually impressed. It's very good quality. Look, you know, this is just everything made really well. I'm gonna post in the same post. I'm gonna put up these images of all these labels, and it says the official pro rodeo competition jeans. You know, original Cowboy Cut, and number 13 MWZ. Original fit, 100% cotton, Wrangler, and this is 1 year limited warranty. So before we start, I also want to mention that I purchased this because a lot of people, whenever I do a review of anything, I purchased this in the United States, in the US website. It was, I believe it was like $49. It's relatively cheap because the quality is fantastic. And on sale it was for $39, you know, $39.90, like about $40 I pay, and I can't believe how, you know, just for the first look, and you know, this is pretty impressive. Like I said, the denim, made in the USA denim, you can't beat this. Okay, let's dive into the details. So the first, and again, I never owned Wrangler, so to me it was very interesting jeans. So the first is this, you know, classic 5-corner pockets. They kind of similar to the size. Let's put this Levi. Let's see. Yeah, the Levi is slightly wider, as you can see. You know, it's a little goes the concave shape here, but you know, it has traditional W letter across. The rivets are copper from this side, copper, and they concave. They're not flat completely. They flat on this side. So the you know, belt loops, it's 7 belt loops, and there is a for reasons. They kind of flat belt loops, and well done, nothing sticking out. You know, this is working jeans, and you know, when you bend over, so if you have a 5 belt loops, you know, this thing gonna snag, and you know, you're gonna see your ass pretty much. It makes total sense for working jeans to do like a 7 belt loops. This, interesting, the yoke is actually goes down this way versus Levi. The yoke, as you can see the difference, it's actually up. Here goes down, and I think I have another pair of Wrangler. We'll talk about it later. So again, the coin pocket, very interesting. The coin pocket, some people, I couldn't see it from at first because this is actually right below the belt line, and this is pretty huge, this coin pocket, because the ones you have on traditional 501s, this is LVC, see, this is, you can see it right away, but you know, some people, they own it for a while, they have no clue that this is actually coin pocket is here, and it's pretty big. So let's put, this is interesting triple stitch. Look how tough it is. This is pretty tough canvas as well. Nice triple stitch here. This is just fantastic. Look at this. The double stitching across the yoke and double stitching here on the back rise. So the copper, it's YKK, excellent zipper, like a locking zipper. Okay, this is the traditional closure button with like a rope logo, Wrangler. Okay, so this, let's talk about it. So let me open this one. So I'm gonna post all these pictures too, just for people who would like to know more about it, because I know there's a lot of international fans about this. You know, we have Cowboys everywhere, in Chile, in Argentina, in Europe, and I'm sure a lot of people would love to have something like this. So if you have chance, or like, I know Wrangler have website in Europe, EU, and South America, that would be fantastic. And this is not just for working. I said you can dress it down, dress it up. You can go in restaurant and, you know, or the theater, if you break them down, and they will probably, not probably, they will fade nicely if you, like I said, it might take a while to break them. Okay, let's do, what else? The details of inside seam. Inside seam is, it's a single, but there's a safety, there's single stitch, but there's a safety, another safety stitch here. So kind of like you see, there's a dark, dark single stitch and overlook as a safety stitch. It's not a double inside seam. The outside seam is a double. It's, the orange poly cotton has two actually. You have the orange poly cotton, and there's a one which is you cannot see. It's a dark blue, but from inside both like a white. So double stitch, pretty nice and pretty tough. This, like I said, this is so tough. It's hard to break these pants. It would be fantastic to wear, probably. It would be a challenge for me to break them. About the feet, I already put them on. I must say they fit pretty nicely. It has a little room. They're not completely straight. This is boot cut pants. So, and they meant to be so you can wear with the boots. So it's slightly wider if you compare to Levi, 501s. And this is a size 33-30. This is complete sunfarized, and on a lot of Wrangler reviews, someone said they do extra length in the seam. I doubt it, but we can measure it. So it would be interesting how they would, fit after like initial soaking or initial wash. Let's see. Nope, this is actually less than 30. I would say, yeah, it's exactly 30 from the center of the crotch to the bottom of the hem. Exactly 30. So there's no any extra. I hope I'm not gonna get too short. So this is 8 on the bottom hem. It's gonna be 8.75. So this is slightly like a 501s would be about 8 inches. And at the knee, let's do down 13. It's 9 1/4 at the knee. Close, pretty close to 501s. And let's see the front rise. Let's see, front rise would be, I'm gonna do this way, it's better, easy for you to see. It's pretty high, so it's almost 12. So which is kind of what I expected. This is more like a high rise, would be on the waistline. So which is, I don't mind. I actually don't like a too low. When it's 10.5, it's way too low for me. And we'll do the thigh real quick. Just bear it with me. 12 1/4. Okay, yeah, this is 12 1/4. Okay, this is, pretty close to 501s, but it's a little, I would say, even the front rise, it's just slightly high. Like I said, would be interesting. So I put them on, they fit great, and I'll post probably in a separate video just a quick fit review, how they sit. And what else? So there's two things. Just from my first impression, I really love the craftsmanship. It's a beautiful, the patch, forgot to mention, this is nylite, they call it, which is kind of like synthetic leather, but it's not a leather, it's actually kind of like a rubberized. It's almost like a rubber, but it doesn't bother me really. So it's better than paper or like Levi do, like a cardboard. This is definitely would last longer. There is also little detail Wrangler embroidered label. So, and let's see what else it says here. Like we mentioned, made in Mexico. Let's show you one more time. This label, made in Mexico. Okay, like I said, the U.S. cotton from Texas. And this is it. I think we pretty much covered all the details. This is nice. Chain stitch on the belt line goes in. Also says 1 year limited warranty, this label. And I guess this is it. And this is, okay. And the size, like we covered, 33-30. That's my size. So about the feet, like I said, the feet, very good, a little high, right on the waist. I want to mention something which is important. you know, like about the fit. Many people using Levi's, you know, 501 as a sort of like a benchmark, not a benchmark, like a reference point, which makes sense because, you know, 501s are, you know, the most probably, you know, popular, most like a common kind of like a jeans around the world, and people know it's pretty standard style in the cut. And so that's why I said about my size 33-30. My Levi size, it's right here. This is LVC 501s. It's 34-32. And keep in mind my standard, because this was kind of like they shrunk a bit. So, and they cuffed up here. So, but my standard Levi size is 34-30. And I would, if you wear, for example, Levi 34, you should get Wranglers 33 size, because, you know, this is sort of like Lee. You get one size smaller than Levi's. For example, if your size is like 33 Levi's, you should get 32. And I don't think they will shrink, because this is sunforized denim. So if they shrink, like you put them, you know, after washing or soaking, you just kind of put them on yourself while it's damp, or just kind of stretch it like this, and you should be fine. They also, compared to 501s, this pair is slightly fuller in this thigh when I measured it. So let me see. Let me try again. I think it was, yes, it's an inch. It's 1 inch from the crotch. It's 12.5, and this would be 11.75 in the thigh. It would be a little bit fuller here. It kind of makes sense because this is a working pants, like working jeans, and it's a little wider, I would say, by half an inch in the knee. So you know, it's 12. It's 12, let's see, 13 down. So it's a 9.5, and, you know, 501s would be about 9, slightly even less. So, which means it's a little wider here and a little wider here, and same as at the hem, it's half an inch wider. So makes sense because this is a boot cut. So this is all I want to say about the fit. And like I said, I'll put the labels, pictures, and, you know, for everyone, because there's a lot of fakes out there, especially like for international viewers. You know, a lot of fakes out there that people sell on eBay, some kind of replicas. And I think in order to, you know, to know what exactly real thing and what is not, I'm gonna put all these little labels, all these pictures, I'm gonna put at the end of this post, and so you guys know, because they all, when you see some fakes, there is some discrepancy, and they kind of look alike, but you can see some little details and like a chain stitches, like you know, like rivets, for example, they would be different. So even labels, they look alike, but they're slightly different. So I'm gonna post those too, and I think we pretty much covered everything. Like I said, I want to do, there's a rooted collection by Wrangler as well, and I would like to do my next review, a rooted collection, which is all made in USA, you know, denim and the pants itself. I'm kind of, you know, looking forward to it, you know, so please visit, you know, my channel later. We'll do a review. And this particular, I would like to actually wear the break them in and maybe do update review, I would say like in 6 months, because this might take a while. I mean, that would be interesting to see, to follow up on that. So I'll try. I know that's going to be hard work. So if you guys are a fan of raw denim or like rigid denim, so that would be challenging, but you know what? That's what it's all about. And like I said, this is sunforized. This is not a raw denim. This is already sunforized. But this is, I would say, this is rigid. And don't let the color kind of fool you, even though it's kind of like a bluish indigo. It's still pretty much the rigid denim. So, like I said, thank you so much again for watching. and you know, I'm very excited to break them in, and please visit the channel again. Thank you. Bye.